The plates were mismatched. That's what I remember first. 2 from my old apartment. 1 chipped at the rim. The heavy ceramic ones my mother insisted on bringing when they moved in, for a few weeks. The table felt crowded with objects that didn't belong to the same life. My son was explaining, very seriously, why dinosaurs would have preferred pizza if they'd had access to it. He was 6. His hands moved when he talked. He believed he was presenting evidence. I was refilling water glasses. My father had already made 2 comments about how quickly groceries disappeared in this house. My mother smiled in that way she does when she's agreeing without speaking. They had been living with me for 8 months. At first it was practical. Their lease ended. Retirement savings thinner than expected. Just until we get back on our feet. My father said. I told myself this was normal. Families absorb each other. That's what we do. I covered the utilities, the mortgage. The internet my father streamed documentaries on all day. I rearranged my son's room so my parents could have the larger one downstairs because the stairs were hard on the knees. I worked longer hours. I stopped replacing things that broke. None of that felt noble. It felt necessary. The comment came mid-bite. My son dropped a piece of crust and giggled. My father set his fork down harder than needed. This is exactly what I'm talking about. He said, looking at me but gesturing toward the child. No discipline. No structure. You and your kid are just freeloaders. The word sat in the air like my son stopped moving. For a second my body reacted before my mind did. The old instinct, explain. Apologize, make it smaller. Say he didn't mean it. Tell my son grandpa was joking. My mother didn't laugh. She smirked, a small upward tilt of the mouth. Agreement without ownership, something in me shifted. Not hot, not explosive, just alignment. I pulled my chair out and sat down fully, hands folded. I looked at my father the way I look at a client who has misunderstood a contract. You have 24 hours to leave, I said. My voice surprised even me. Calm. Even. He laughed first. A sharp bark. Excuse me. This is my house. I said, you can gather your things tonight, I'll give you until tomorrow evening. My mother's smirk dissolved. Don't be dramatic. I'm not. My son's eyes were wide. I touched his shoulder lightly. Go to your room please. He hesitated. Then went. My father stood up, chair scraping. After everything we've done for you. I didn't list the tuition loans I paid alone. The years of being the mediator between them. The nights I came home from work and cooked for 4 adults because you're better at it. I didn't defend. I didn't argue the past. I won't have my child called a freeloader in his own home. I said. Not by anyone. He began to shact. About ungrateful children. About how this generation didn't understand sacrifice. The volume rose. The authority he'd used my entire life. And for the first time, it didn't land. You have 24 hours. I repeated. He stormed upstairs. My mother. You're going to regret this. She said quietly. I already regret letting it go this long. That night was not dramatic. No slammed doors. Just heavy footsteps, drawers opening. The low murmur of them talking behind a closed door. I lay awake staring at the ceiling. The house felt tense like it was holding its breath. I wondered if I was cruel. If obligation had an expiration date I just ignored. In the morning, my father refused to pack. Sat in the living room watching television. As if the house were still as by volume alone. So I did the only thing left that wasn't emotional. I called the local non-emergency line. By afternoon, a uniformed officer stood in my doorway. Not aggressive, not dramatic. Just procedural. He asked who was on the deed. I handed him the folder I'd prepared months ago for refinancing. My name alone. He asked how long they had been staying. Temporary guests, I said. No lease, no rent. My father's tone shifted in the presence of a third party. Less thunder, more indignation. The officer explained calmly that without a lease and given my ownership, I had the right to revoke permission. If they refused to leave, formal eviction could follow. He did not take sides, he didn't need to, authority didn't shout. It clarified. My father looked smaller hearing it from someone else. Not wrong, just confronted with structure. By evening, boxes were stacked near the door. My mother avoided my eyes. My father carried the heaviest suitcase himself. Pride has weight. They didn't apologize. I didn't ask them to. When the door closed behind them, the house didn't feel victorious. It felt quiet in a way that was almost uncomfortable. As if something loud had been removed and the silence needed time to settle. My son came downstairs slowly. Are they mad? He asked. Yes, I said honestly. Are we in trouble? He studied my face, searching for something. Okay. He said finally, and went back to his dinosaurs. I walked through the rooms they'd occupied. The larger bedroom looked strangely neutral without their furniture. I opened the windows. There was grief, yes. Not for the arrangement, for the illusion. For the version of family that required endurance instead of respect. They texted 2 days later. Short messages. Practical things about mail forwarding. No discussion of what was said. Power didn't feel triumphant. It felt quiet. Like a locked door that finally fit its frame. I did not celebrate. I paid the electric bill that month and noticed it was lower. At dinner, my son dropped another piece of crust. He looked at me quickly, as if checking whether it was allowed. It's just pizza, I said. The house stayed mine.